Hello? Is this thing on? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been forever since I've been on YouTube. I missed you guys and I hope you missed me too. I took a very intentional break from YouTube, but I'm back, and yeah, I'm just so happy to get back into making videos and making content for you guys again. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about my 4-year update living in Canada. I am recording this video on my 4th anniversary of moving to Canada, and I thought, you know, what better way to come back into vlogging and making videos for you guys than on my 4th anniversary of moving to Canada, essentially what I created my entire platform here on YouTube about. So it's been 4 years. What's happened? I want to talk really about the pros and the cons of my move here to Canada, and essentially at the end of it, you know, would I do it again if I could go back in the past and, you know, get a new an opportunity to do things again? Like, would I make that move knowing what I know now? So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start with the pros, all of the pros, and then we'll get into the cons. The very first pro of my move here to Canada is just all of the opportunities that I've been able to get as a result of coming here. So, you know I've been very vocal about my move here for the most part if you've been watching me, and you know how I feel about Canada. But with all of that being said, Canada has still given me so much opportunities that I would have otherwise not received if I didn't move here, specifically in terms of job opportunities. I know a lot of persons, especially now, are finding it very difficult to find jobs here and you know, integrate into Canadian society and the Canadian labor market. But thankfully I was blessed to not have that problem. Ever since I came here and I was able to transition from being an international student to a work permit holder, I genuinely never had a problem finding jobs in my field. I've gotten jobs that flew me out twice a year for conferences in the States, and have given me so many opportunities to meet so many wonderful people. A lot of the friends that I have now are even as a result of the jobs that I've gotten. So my number one thing is definitely the opportunities, specifically as it relates to job and like the work force and the work environment. And in addition to that, there are just some things about the Canadian work culture that is so different from the Jamaican work culture, and I was able to learn so much things professionally and personally as well. So 100% I give Canada that, 100%. The second thing, or the second pro about my move here to Canada, is my ability to travel. And it was one of the main reasons why I wanted to move too, is because I know I wanted to travel and move into a country where if I get permanent residence or have their passport, my opportunity, or my ability to travel rather, would have opened up a lot more than when I was in Jamaica. Granted, like, you can travel when you're in Jamaica, but a part of that was like finances, and then, you know, when you're coming from Jamaica going to other countries, it makes it a little bit more difficult for you. So here now, as a permanent resident of Canada, I find that going to other countries is not that difficult if you're coming from Canada. That's the first thing. And then because I am able to finance these travels now, it has just opened up a world of opportunities as it relates to travel, and that is like my number one thing now. Ever since I started to travel, I've just like, I want to just go everywhere and do everything. Third pro that I would say is the fact that my move here to Canada made me appreciate Jamaica so much more. And I know this might sort of be like a negative thing as well, but honestly, the appreciation and the love that I have for Jamaica may not have had that if it were not for the fact that I moved here. And I've always been a very patriotic person, and I've always loved my country, but let me tell you something. let me tell you something. I appreciated Jamaica so much more. I fell in love with my country so much more and all over again after I moved here, because I was able to make the comparison with like the culture here, the people here, the food, everything to Jamaica, and I was just like, dang, like I really had it good there. So I think even though it might be a little bit negative as it relates to Canada itself, I think that that particular point, I just would not have had that experience and I have had that, you know, just feeling towards my country if I didn't leave. So that's also another pro of my leaving Jamaica to come to Canada. Another pro is just the fact that I was able to experience a different culture. So that's sort of like a different take on what I said prior to. I'm able to experience a different culture, and not just Canadian culture, but a lot of different cultures through the persons that I've met here. I have friends that are from Africa, persons that are from France, like other persons from different Caribbean islands. I've met so many people that it's just like amazing, and it's opened up my mind and my eyes so much than before, because it's like when you live in a country and you only know about your culture, even if you read about it and you know you hear about it, there's just it's just a different experience when you are able to experience somebody else's culture directly through them by interacting with persons from those countries. And Canada has opened up that so wide for me. My friend group is so wide right now. I have a better appreciation for other people's culture. I have a better understanding for, you know, certain things that other people go through, and I feel like it has really helped me to grow as a person. And you know, it's just a good feeling to know that you're able to say, yeah, like I know that this particular race or this particular group of people does things this way because I've experienced, you know, getting to know someone from that. So the next pro that I've experienced since moving to Canada, or rather as a result of moving to Canada, is the level of growth, personal growth. There has been a lot of professional growth, 100%, but the level of personal growth that I have achieved after moving here, whoo, let me just take a little sippy sip, because the testimonies that I have. But honestly, I would not have been able to grow at the rate that I've grown personally if I did not move to Canada. And I won't go too much into details because I might touch on some of those things in the cons, but I grew so much and so fast too within the span of 4 years. I just knew for a fact that if I was still in Jamaica, that level of growth would not have happened at the rate. I probably would have grown, but just not at the rate that I've grown here. So Canada pushes you a lot, and that's another con. It pushes you a lot to work on yourself. It pushes you to, you know, test the boundaries of your faith in God, your faith in yourself. And it's so funny because right before I left Jamaica, I got this tattoo. This was my very first tattoo. I have two. I have this one and I have this one. This one I got in Jamaica, and it says faith. And I got it right before I left. And I got it because I wanted, after my move, to be reminded each time when I didn't have faith to take a look at this tattoo and be reminded that you just have to have faith. And when I came here, my faith was tested, tried and tested. And you know, it's just amazing the things that God can do, and it's amazing the things that He will let happen to you to test the boundaries of your faith. So that's another con, or pro rather. It's just the professional growth and development, and just the test of your faith. You're gonna be tested. You're gonna be tested, and you're gonna be tested in ways that you've never been tested before, because moving to a new country and moving to Canada specifically, I don't know, for the week, baby love, it's not for the weak. So yeah, there you go. Another pro is that I've had a great appreciation for mental health. I know that some of these pros are a little bit suspicious, and it's like, but girl, you said that you're talking about pros, but honestly, like, these are some very positive things, and it might not sound that way, but it really is. And I've never really considered like mental health before and the importance of mental health, and I never really, you know, had just like a section in my brain and in my life for mental health and taking care of myself in that way prior to moving here. And here I have developed a love and an appreciation for mental health and self-care and just everything relating to ensuring that my mental space and my peace of mind is in a very good place, because if it is not, I'm unable to function. So there you have it. Another pro is the fact that I moved to a country that has all 4 seasons, and I've never experienced that before. You know, I've traveled before coming to Canada, and I've experienced like winter and a little bit of fall, but it was only for like short periods. But to be completely immersed and see the change in seasons, it's really a beautiful thing. It really is a wonderful thing to experience summer, winter, fall, spring, and just to see everything change, and it just opens up your mind to the fact that, you know, these things are possible, and there's beauty in everything and in all the seasons. And I like to associate each season, each actual season, with varying seasons of my life. So that's just a little thing. So yeah, I think for the most part, those are all of the positive things that I've experienced since moving to Canada. I will touch on a few more things that I feel like is super important, but I don't necessarily consider them a pro, just because there are negative aspects to some of these things. But Canada is a beautiful country, definitely a pro. I've been able to, you know, do a lot of activities and things that I've never done before. There are lots of things to do here in Canada, lots of activities, especially in the summertime, and I really like that. The healthcare here, let's just say that you don't have to pay for a lot of things, which is good. That's good. And I'll stop there. The diversity, very diverse initially when I first came. Right now, we're gonna put a pin in that one, and then we're gonna come back. And what else? Food. So there is a diversity in food too, because there's a diverse culture here. The quality, maybe I shouldn't have added food there, but I added it there. And considering now that it sounds like I'm running out of pros, let's hop on over to the cons, and we'll start off strong with the mental health. Canada will break you if you are not mentally prepared for the move. Even if you are actually mentally prepared for the move, again, your faith will be tested, your patience will be tested, your will to live, that's heavy, but your will to live and to survive will be tested. Mine was, for sure, 100%. This is probably the first time I'm verbally saying that, but my will to live was tested. There was a time when I just moved here where all I did was cry. I was crying. There was a time where I was on the bus on my way home from my very first job, and I was so depressed, so anxious, so sad, that I came back home and I was just like, I told my cousin, you need to take me to the airport. I'm leaving. I don't want to be here. Take me back home. This is too much. There has been periods where I was just down on my knees praying to God to take me out of this situation that I got myself into. And it's just a place where you will come and you will get tested and you will get broken if you're not mentally prepared and if you don't have the support. I came here alone, and with no real expectation. I had expectations, but no real knowledge of how it would be, to be honest, and not a lot of support. So it was very difficult for me, and based on that, I had a very challenging time regarding my mental health. I've had stints where I thought that I was having a heart attack when it was really just a panic attack and anxiety. You know, I've been to therapy. I've done the work to get past that, but it was very difficult. And I'm glad that I can say that I'm over the other side of that now. But this is my little tip. So the next con about my move to Canada is the fact that I feel a little bit scammed. I do feel that the way Canada was advertised to me, and I'm sure a lot of persons at that time, was just like this country where you can come and flourish and succeed. There's so many opportunities, everything here is great, crime rate is low, like high paying jobs, you can make so much money, this, that, and the third. And while some of those things are true, so to a certain extent, the bar was up here and the expectations with respect to what would have been provided was up here, and then when you finally come and you see what it actually is like, it's given here, and I feel like, without, you know, at the risk of sounding ungrateful, I was scammed. I felt scammed. And you know, I used to compare Canada. I thought Canada was kind of like the US in a lot of ways before I moved here, and I realized that it's not. You think that the level of service and care and the products that you are able to get here would have been on par with, you know, your US counterparts, because like this is a first world country, it's North America, US is right there, so I expected things to kind of be on par, but it's not. It's so hard to, you know, shop here. Everything is so expensive here. They tax you out of your ass here. Like the taxes here are crazy, like ridiculous, and it makes you not want to work and make more money, because obviously the more money you make, the more you get taxed. But the tax is so heavy, so hefty, that you just feel like you're working for nothing. So that's one of the cons as well, is that Canada is so tax heavy that there's no incentive to work hard and there's no incentive to make more money. And I feel like that's a very bad thing, because persons aren't motivated to really work. And yeah, and that's kind of how I feel, because it's just like, why climb the corporate ladder if there's not going to be any benefits to climbing the corporate ladder? You go into a store, you're not able to find all of the nice things that you see like the US has in terms of like clothes and just like a lot of things, products and supplies. You aren't able to get that here, and you think that this is Canada, like why can't I get simple things here? I was able to get some things in Jamaica, in Fontana, that don't even at Canada. I have to drive across the border or pay duties and shipping to ship them from the US here, and I'm like, that's actually ridiculous. Why? And that's that mindset again about me being scammed. Like, why is it that way? So that's another thing that I don't really like, and you know, just another con. And the healthcare, I've had my own experiences with healthcare here. As much as it is free, you know, the quality of the care here is not the best, only because there aren't a lot of doctors here, and everything, all of the healthcare goes through the government. There are no real private doctors, so their motivation behind serving you is kind of just, the doctors aren't motivated to help you. They can fire you as their patient. You have to wait a very long time to be able to even get an actual like family doctor, and it's just not what I expected it to be. I can get a doctor easily in Jamaica. Why do I have to be on a wait list? You know what I mean? And there is a long wait time to to do certain tests. You have people dying before they even get to do certain tests just because there's such a long wait time, and the healthcare system really is just in shambles. And if you want to come from another country as a health professional, when you come to Canada, the tests and re-education that you have to do to be able to get into the field is so rigorous that some people just don't even bother, which is why we have a shortage of healthcare workers. So that's another thing. Let's get into some other things like rent. Something that I've always spoken about. I've been in the same place since I've moved here, and that's with family, because this girl now move out and pay no $2,000 a month for rent for a little 500 square feet apartment. No, I'd rather spend my money on traveling. But you would think that you would be able to have the same quality of life that you did prior to, or better quality of life, and that is what really grinds my gears. I'm just like, your intention was to move from your country to this first world country, get all these opportunities, work hard, make your money, and to live a higher standard of living. My standard of living, and I'm not lying, has decreased. It's less. The kind of life and the standard of living that I lived back in Jamaica was higher. I had my own apartment. Like I was able to, even though like life in Jamaica is hard, let's not get this twisted, and Jamaica is expensive, but the quality of life, and it really depends on what quality of life means to you, and the certain things that you prioritize. But the things that I prioritized, the quality of life in Jamaica was just better for that than here. I can't move into my own apartment, and I find that crazy because rent is so expensive compared to what you make here, because they tax you so much. I've spoken a lot about the weather, although you know it's great to be able to experience all the seasons. We have 6 months of winter, and that's unlike a lot of countries in the north. 6 months of winter, and some of it is brutal, and you know, the winter blues is a real thing. You have to be very careful, because if you are susceptible to depression, that's when it's going to happen. If you're susceptible to any kind of mental you know, issues, most likely it's gonna come to the forefront in the winter. So it's like you have to do all this preparation for the winter time, and then there's also a lot of anxiety surrounding summer too, like within the summer period, because there's only 3 months for summer, and then it's like when you get to summer, it's just like, okay, we have to plan, we have to go, we have to do all these things because it's summer, and then like it's gonna be winter to fall and winter soon, and it makes you feel a little bit tense. Like you can't really enjoy the time, like you feel wound up. Because even though like it's summer, well, summer is coming to an end, and initially it was like, okay, we need to do this, we need to go here, and I ran out of steam, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, it's just whatever happens. If winter is gonna come anyway, so what can I do? So that's another thing that I don't like, the weather. That's a con. And all of the other things, to be honest, are like really little things, like the food. Me not like the food tastes bad. They're all injected. You will get a lot of health issues if you're not careful. I have developed a particular health issue here that I am currently working with my doctor to try to rectify. That is causing me things like memory loss and brain fog, and I am more susceptible to dementia and Alzheimer's once I get older. So love that for me. And I mean, I'm making it sound like it's, you know, very light, but it's actually not. And what can I say? Canada has fucked me. Okay, I might crop that up, but Canada really has, you know, done some things to me, positive things, negative things, but it's all a part of the journey. Honestly, it's all a part of the experience. And with that being said, the big question is like, do I regret making the move? It depends on the day. Depends on the day, you ask me. But in all honesty, just based on the growth that I've experienced here, and all of the people that I've met here, and all of the memories that I've made here, I truly believe that it was a move that I needed to make. I didn't have to make it, but I needed it to be able to grow and to develop and to become the person I am today, as corny as that sounds. So I don't regret it. There are some other things that I may have or would have done differently. Let me know if you guys would like a video on that, but there are a ton of things that I would have done differently that maybe would have made my experience a little bit better. So yeah, and with that being said, and I know I received this question a lot online and like in person and stuff like that, and a lot of persons ask me like, so are you know, what's the next move, like what's the next thing? You've been here for 4 years now at this point, like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna move to another province, da da da? And actually guys, if you don't know, I'm going to make it like very obvious right now, and put it out there that my intention is to move back to Jamaica. That's all I really want to do, is to move back to Jamaica. I genuinely don't have any desire to stay in Canada and live in Canada for the rest of my life. I've spoken a lot about the weather, although you know it's great to be able to experience all the seasons. We have 6 months of winter, and that's unlike a lot of countries in the north. 6 months of winter, and some of it is brutal, and you know, the winter blues is a real thing. You have to be very careful, because if you are susceptible to depression, that's when it's going to happen. If you're susceptible to any kind of mental you know, issues, most likely it's gonna come to the forefront in the winter. So it's like you have to do all this preparation for the winter time. And then there's also a lot of anxiety surrounding summer too, like within the summer period, because there's only 3 months for summer. And then it's like when you get to summer, it's just like, okay, we have to plan, we have to go, we have to do all these things because it's summer. And then like it's gonna be winter to fall and winter soon, and it makes you feel a little bit tense. Like you can't really enjoy the time, like you feel wound up. Because even though like it's summer, well, summer is coming to an end, and initially it was like, okay, we need to do this, we need to go here, and I ran out of steam, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, it's just whatever happens. If winter is gonna come anyway, so what can I do? So that's another thing that I don't like, the weather. That's a con. And all of the other things, to be honest, are like really little things, like the food. I don't like the food tastes bad, they're all injected. You will get a lot of health issues if you're not careful. I have developed a particular health issue here that I am currently working with my doctor to try to rectify. That is causing me things like memory loss and brain fog, and I am more susceptible to dementia and Alzheimer's once I get older. So love that for me. And I mean, I'm making it sound like it's, you know, very light, but it's actually not. And what can I say? Canada has fucked me. Okay, I might crop that up, but Canada really has, you know, done some things to me, positive things, negative things, but it's all a part of the journey. Honestly, it's all a part of the experience. And with that being said, the big question is like, do I regret making the move? It depends on the day. Depends on the day you ask me. But in all honesty, just based on the growth that I've experienced here and all of the people that I've met here and all of the memories that I've made here, I truly believe that it was a move that I needed to make. I didn't have to make it, but I needed it to be able to grow and to develop and to become the person I am today, as corny as that sounds. So I don't regret it. There are some other things that I may have or would have done differently. Let me know if you guys would like a video on that, but there are a ton of things that I would have done differently that maybe would have made my experience a little bit better. So yeah, and with that being said, and I know I received this question a lot online and like in person and stuff like that, and a lot of persons ask me like, so are you know, what's the next move, like what's the next thing? You've been here for 4 years now at this point, like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna move to another province, da da da? And actually guys, if you don't know, I'm going to make it like very obvious right now, and put it out there that my intention is to move back to Jamaica. That's all I really want to do, is to move back to Jamaica. I genuinely don't have any desire to stay in Canada and live in Canada for the rest of my life. Yeah, so for right now, until such time, I'm still here. I'm gonna be here. Might be leaving sooner than you think, but you know, you never know. And I'm here to just like continue to take what Canada has to offer, because you know, I'm not gonna just come here and just leave just like that. You understand? It's been a huge sacrifice, and I still think that Canada has a lot to offer for persons that are, you know, currently thinking of making the move. You just have to do your research and to ensure that you understand what you're getting yourself into and what the current climate is like, because it has definitely changed over the past 4 years, 100%. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave your comments and your questions down below. Let me know what kind of videos you guys would like to see from me in the future, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.